Hi everyone, welcome to the lecture number 5 of unit number 4 series solutions of differential equation. Okay, in previous video we have discussed about the singular point and types of singular points, which are regular singular point and irregular singular point. Okay, now in this video we are going to discuss the method of solving the linear differential equations of the type P0x d2y by dx plus P1x dy by dx plus P2xy equal to 0 at a regular singular point x equal to 0, and the method of solving differential equation at a regular singular point x equal to 0 is called as Frobenius method. Okay, now before taking examples we are going to discuss how we are going to do this calculation of the final series solution of the differential equation P0x d2y by dx square plus P1x dy by dx plus P2xy equal to 0 in using Frobenius method. So here also we are going to obtain the series solution of this type of differential equation, okay, at a regular singular point x equal to 0, and the method is called as Frobenius method. Okay, so let us start the discussion of the solution, how to get the solution of using Frobenius method. Okay, so very first, the solution of the Frobenius method is of the type y equal to x raised to m into a0 plus a1x plus a2x square plus dot 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 dot. This bracketed term is an infinite series, which is a power series summation k ranges from 0 to infinity ak x raised to k. This type of power series we have considered as a solution in the first method, power series method, okay, where we have calculated the solution at ordinary point x equal to 0. Okay, here one additional factor x raised to m we multiply to that power series in Frobenius method. Okay, and because of that your series, power series summation k ranges from 0 to infinity ak x raised to k becomes ak x raised to m plus k. Now we are multiplying by this external factor x raised to m, where the value of m will be determined by substituting the expressions dy by dx d2y by dx square in equation number 1. So like the first power series method, okay, here also we are going to substitute the values of this y, its derivative and its double derivative with respect to x in the equation 1 to get the values of m. This powers of m we need to calculate. Okay, now after this, and for calculating that powers we are going to determine the two derivatives and the original y we are going to put in this equation. After that, how to do the calculation for m, that we are going to discuss. Okay, for that this definition we are going to discuss. On equating to 0, the coefficient of lower power of x. Okay, when we equate to 0, the coefficient of lower power of x, okay, lower power of x, that you have to understand, a quadratic equation in m is obtained. So what we'll get after equating to 0, lowest power of x? So after putting the values of these derivatives in the equation 1, we will get one series. Okay, means there infinite series will get there, right? And when from that series, when you equate to 0 the coefficient of lowest power of x, then we'll get one equation, a quadratic equation we'll get. Okay, in all the cases we will get always a quadratic equation in m. Quadratic equation is second degree equation, second degree polynomial you can say. Okay, and that equation here is called as indicial equation. Okay, so that indicial equations calculation very first we have to do. Okay, fine. After that, as we are going to get the quadratic equation, so it will have two roots. Fine, so the two roots will get the values of m, two values of m will get, that is the, we'll get a polynomial in m which will be a quadratic polynomial. That quadratic polynomial, when we equate to 0, it will become a indicial equation, and the roots of that, or the two values of m, will be the roots of that indicial polynomial, will help us to determine the final solution. Okay, the series solution of 1 will depend upon the nature of the roots of the indicial equation. So whatever indicial equation will get, the final solution will depend upon the what type of roots we are getting there. Okay, so for depending upon the nature of the roots, we are having three different cases for the solution. Okay, so very first task is to substitute the values of derivative, and after that get initial equation by equating to 0 the coefficient of lower power of x, and after that determine the roots of that initial polynomial, and after that check the nature of the roots. Okay, there are total three cases. Depending upon to which case that root goes, accordingly the previous steps of calculation of solution will vary. Okay, so first case, when m1 and m2, where we have denoted here m1 and m2, the two roots of the initial polynomial. Okay, when m1 and m2 are distinct and not differing DIFF, not differing by an integer. Okay, the meaning of this line, distinct meaning everyone can understand, but what is the meaning of the second line, not differing by an integer? It means non-multiple, means it should not be like 2 and one root is 2 and other is 4. So 2 and 4 are multiples of each other, right? So such roots are called as roots differing by an integer, and non-differing roots means they are not multiples of each other. Okay, simply you can take its meaning as they are not multiple of each other. If these two conditions are fulfilled, then we are going to do the calculation of final series using case 1. So in this case, we'll have the value of y, final value of the y, that is solution, will be equal to, we have considered this as the solution, right? Now this y will be equal to c1 into y at m1 plus c2 into y at m2. Okay, this can be written as c1 y1 plus c2 y2. So the value of y at first root will be called as y1, the value of y at second root will be called as y2. Means we need to, once we get the value of this series y, in that series just replace this value of m by m1 to get this y at m1, and again you replace that value of m by m2, the second root. Okay, and that will give us the final solution. And for determining this y is what? Y is the series, right? For determining this series, we need to calculate these coefficients a0, a1, a2, like we have done in the first method, right? Where we have determined the series solution of at ordinary point. There also we have done the calculation for this arbitrary constant a2, a3, a4. We have determined a2, a3, a4 in terms of a0 and a1. Okay, so that type of calculation again we are going to repeat here. But here we get the coefficient a1, a2, a3 in terms of a0. And once we get all the coefficient in terms of a0, that a0 can be taken common. That will be our value of y. And by putting the value of m, which is the root of the initial polynomial, we'll get one value first, that we will call as y1, and the second value of y, which we call as y2, can be obtained by putting m equal to the second root m2. Okay, so this is how we'll get y1 and y2 in the first case, when the roots of that initial polynomial are distinct and non-differing by integer, that is non-multiple. Okay, now we'll discuss the second case. Case 2, when roots m1 m2 are equal. If both roots are equal, in that case your final solution will be y equal to c1 into the value of y at m1, both roots are same, so m1, plus c2 into the value of del y by del m at m1. So what you have to do here, once we get our series, after calculating the arbitrary constant, once we get the value of y, in that we first substitute the one root m1. Here we are having only one root. After putting, you will get some value of y at m1. Plus, for determining the second term, we differentiate this y, obtain y with respect to m. Okay, and whatever derivative of that y you will get after differentiating partially with respect to m, in that derivative we need to substitute again the value of the root to get the coefficient of c2. So in that way, we'll calculate these two terms after determining the value of y. Okay, and after putting it in this equation, we'll get our final solution. Now case number 3, when roots are m1 and m2 roots are distinct and differing by an integer. Okay, and the case number 3 is when roots m1 m2 are distinct and differing by an integer. Okay, so in the case 1 we have non-differing by an integer, in the case 1 we have non-differing by integer, and in case number 3 we are having differing by an integer. So meaning of case 1 is non-multiples, m1 and m2 are non-multiples of each other, and in the case 3 the meaning is these two roots will be multiples of each other. Again, there are sub cases for this case, but out of that only one case we are going to take in our syllabus. Okay, only one case we have taken in our syllabus, only that you need to understand. Fine. Here I have denoted m1 as less than m2. Fine. Two values will get which are distinct. Definitely one will be less than other, that I have taken as m1 less than m2. In this case, the solution, if the roots are multiples of each other, in this case it may happen some coefficients becomes infinity when m equals to m2. I have taken one root out of 2 at which the value of some coefficient, where coefficient means our a1, a2, a3, a4, whenever some coefficient's value becomes infinity at the value m equal to m2. In this case, first we replace, for overcoming this difficulty, we replace the value of a0 by b0 into m minus m2. For example, if you are having two roots plus 2 and minus 2, and if you are having constants of the type a2 equal to some a0 by m plus 2 into m plus 3. So clearly at this point, okay, at this value of m, this quantity becomes 0, because of that a2 becomes infinity, right? Means this coefficient a2 is becoming infinity at m equal to minus 2. So in this case what we are going to do, we are going to replace this a0, we are going to replace by b0 into m minus m2. So what will get, a2 will become b0 into m minus m2, so m minus minus 2, so it will become m plus 2. So we'll get m plus 2 in the numerator, that m plus 2 and this m plus 2 will get cancelled, means the problematic factor will get removed after this transformation, and we'll get the value of a2 as b0 by m plus 3. All the problematic factors will get removed after this transformation, after this replacement, you can say replacement of a0 by b0 into m minus m2, and later on we can determine the coefficient in terms of b0 instead of in terms of a0 there. And after doing this, your solution can be written as y equal to c1 into y at m1. So at one root you will have you can determine all the coefficients. So at that point you can immediately find the first factor y at m1, and we have considered the second root, at which means we have considered the root m2 is the root at which some coefficient becomes infinity. So for that particular root we are calculating what, del y by del m. So you calculate del y by del m after this transformation. First we need to carry out this transformation. So after that we'll get some y, differentiate that y partially with respect to m, and then in that derivative you put the value of m equal to m2, and that will give us the second series. So this is the first series, the coefficient of c1 is one series and the coefficient of c2 is one series. For determining second series we need to do additional calculation here in this case, if some coefficients are becoming infinity at one root. Okay, for that root you replace a0 by b0 into m minus m2, you'll get a new series, differentiate that series with respect to m partially, and put the value of root m by m2, that will give us the second series. This is how, when we'll take examples, then only things will be more clear to you. This is just discussion about the solutions. Okay, in coming lecture we are going to take problems on this, then you will understand it in detail. One more time in brief I will revise the entire Frobenius method. So very first we are going to consider the solution as y equal to x raised to m into a0 plus a1x, which is nothing but this series. After considering this as solution, find dy by dx, d2y by dx square, like previous methods, and after determining derivatives substitute all these three values in equation 1, and once we get some series there, then equate to 0 the coefficient of lowest degree term in x, okay, to get initial equation. After getting initial equation, determine its roots and just check what kind of roots, the nature of the roots we are having, whether they belongs to case 1, case 2 or case 3. If they belong to case 1, then proceed like case 1. Case 1 is very easy to handle, okay. Then determine for case 2 this is the formula, and for case 3 this is the formula, and some additional things you must know about the case number 3. On every case, one example we are going to cover in coming lectures, and after that you will come to know how to do calculation. Okay, so that's it from this lecture. Thank you.